We're going to start this program with a very simple question from Monday Night Football, and I'll just throw it out there. What was that?
That was so confusing.
Yo.
What was that? What the hell was that?
I don't know, man.
Let's start with the good stuff. Let's start with the Cleveland Browns.
They were great.
They were terrific. They were terrific. This is the formula. This is the formula. The formula is to run you over with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, if he's still on the team by the end of the day. He is rumored to be a commodity on the trade deadline day.
The Dolphins want him? Was Tyreek Hill?
I don't know. Well, that's part of the reason we're having Albert Breer on later. But that's formula. That's what you're supposed to do. Supposed to see Nick Chubb running you over, and we're supposed to see the play action working when you're concerned about Nick Chubb running you over, and then Myles Garrett is supposed to lead a defense to wreck your night. And last night, the Grim Reaper, the guy who has been known for setting up on his front lawn a bunch of tombstones with the number and the names of quarterbacks who he has sacked in his burgeoning
I love that. That's
Pro
so
Bowl,
funny
All-Pro
Did he do
career.
that this year or what?
It's great.
And he's the one coming in this week saying, we're feeling good because Joe Burrow's not beating us. I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, we've done well against them. I'm feeling good about it. And look out for me on Halloween night. Well,
Feeling good,
first drive, Joe Burrow and the Bengals are throwing it around, and Joe's coming off of 2 spectacular starts. And Garrett tips a ball, leads to an interception. Another one, he ends on a sack. And with that, the Browns score a touchdown, go for 2. Don't ask me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand it. But they're up 8-0. It works. And the Bengals start punting, and then they turn it over with Burrow fumbling it, trying to step up in the pocket, getting hit. They also miss a field goal, a disastrous first half, and the Browns put up 3 of their own at the end of the first half because Evan McPherson missed a field goal, which he just never really does.
Nope.
It just was a dreadful first half, and it's an 11-0 score at half. Kevin Stefanski comes out after half. He's like, let's see if we could score on the back end of halftime and double dip. Well, they triple dipped. They dipped, and we dipped. And
when you dip, I dip, we dip.
We all dipped.
Hands on hips. I'm confused.
And we dip and bow to the Cleveland Browns putting in front of all of us exactly what we thought they could do with Jacoby Brissett, waiting for Deshaun Watson to come back. Easily the Browns' best game of the year, and they needed it. 2-6 would have absolutely put them in the market of sending Kareem Hunt elsewhere and then trying to tread as much water as they possibly can so Deshaun Watson can come back and give them a nice wind at their back going into an offseason to try and build for a 2023 after 2022 went down the tubes because of signing Deshaun Watson and a suspension coming. And instead, they're 3-5. They're 3-5, and Cleveland has a bye coming up with 2 games that might pretty much end it because they're at Miami and at Buffalo after that, but who knows? And then they're at Tennessee, and Cleveland's got, and they're at Tampa Bay, and then they get Deshaun Watson back. You got Tom Brady coming to town, So at Miami, at Buffalo, home for Tampa. We'll see what happens when then Deshaun Watson comes back. But look, at least they're hitting their bye at 3-5, feeling good about themselves coming back from whatever injuries they might be able to come back from. Yeah. So kudos to the Cleveland Browns, man. They got it done last night, and they showed us how they can play football.
Isn't that also what makes football cool?
Right. You can't predict it.
Can't predict
Kurt
that.
Warner, for instance. You can't predict anything. Kurt Warner's career is the personification of unpredictable. I bring him up because he was on the verge of a big rarity and a huge rarity, which is he had every game picked correctly from his NFL Game Day morning appearance. Every week 8 game predicted correctly.
Oh,
7, 8.
All of them. He lone wolfed the Saints. He lone wolfed Denver. He lone wolfed the Patriots.
Yeah.
He got all of them correct, and he had the Bengals last night.
Oh.
C'est la vie.
Still won the week, I'm sure.
Yeah, he did. He did, but he'll be a little less incorrigible on Sunday's NFL Game Day morning had he shown up.
Yeah, perfect.
With I don't know if anybody's ever gone undefeated.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
Unbeaten.
That's tough.
Hey, man. And he was in the booth on Westwood 1. He saw it. He mentioned it at the end of the broadcast with Kevin Harlan. He knew it. He knew it. But hey, at any rate, and now we'll get to the what was that
The hell going
question?
on?
What the hell going on with the Bengals? Hey, man,
Jeez.
I'm going to put this right on the offensive line, putting it right there, man, right on their stout shoulders, but shaky protection. Yes, Jamar Chase being out is going to leave a mark. It's just gonna. He's one of the best. I think the broadcast with Buck and Aikman on ESPN last night said Burrow, since Chase had been drafted, which was at the beginning of last year, had thrown only 20 passes, 20 attempts in games that he did not have Jamar Chase. That's it. That's it. And last night he threw more than that in the first possession of the second half. And so he's going to have to live life without Jamar Chase. And this team is going to have to find receptions without one of the best in the business. I get it. But it doesn't matter who might step up. And I know Mike Thomas had one go off his hands last night. And there are others who can step up, but they're not going to have the opportunity to do it if Burrow can't throw it. More of the same of what we saw last year of him overcoming to get to the Super Bowl and almost win the damn thing.
Yeah.
But last night, he couldn't do anything after that first drive in which Myles Garrett tipped the ball and ended the first drive because it wound up with it being an interception. Putting it right on the offensive line, putting it right there. Apparently, Joe Mixon had a players-only meeting with the offensive line this week to talk about the run game. Now you got a problem with the passing game again. And I thought we were getting through this. I thought the last couple of weeks, I thought winning 4 out of 5 showed that they're getting better and gelling better, and Burrow's talking them up and feeling better about it. And then here comes the Cleveland Browns. What do you think's going to happen when the Bills come in front of them? What do you think's going to happen when the Chiefs with Chris Jones and Frank Clark when he comes back from a 2-game suspension in time for that game? What do you think's going to happen then? Cincinnati's next game is home for Carolina. Okay, you could sit there and chalk that one up, right? Except for the fact that the Carolina Panthers have suddenly found new life since they fired Matt Rule and traded away Christian McCaffrey. Who would have thought that? You know, DJ Moore, keep your helmet on when you go into Cincinnati. And then they get a bye at Pittsburgh, at Tennessee.
Yeah, there's no get-right games there.
Kansas City.
Maybe
they're
Pittsburgh.
home for KC, home for Cleveland, at Tampa, at New England, home for Buffalo on a Monday night to wrap up the penultimate week. And then they're got the big one against Baltimore. They better start buttoning up. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.